This week on the Push Pull Legs podcast, we talk about being more divisive. James Smith, some old bodybuilder man, and why the hell are you testing this?
3, 2, 1. What's going on, John Doe?
Hey guys, welcome to the Push Pull Legs podcast with myself, Dummy.
And me, John Doe. What's going on?
John Doe.
Good
old John
Tom
Doe,
Hall. Tom Hall's here. John Doe's not here, just in case anybody didn't recognize my voice and they're tuning in for the first time. You weirdos. What's going on?
We all know who you are, Tom. Don't worry. We all know who you are. Yeah, we're going to introduce you to why Tom was talking about John Doe later on in the show, I'm sure. But
wow, did you rhyme? Good damn.
There we go. You see? Just a pretty
Jesus
face, you know.
Debatable.
There you go.
Debatable.
Highly debatable, but yeah. But you, Tom, you'll be pleased to know, mate. I did the old. I went online. I was like, I'm going to buy some of that athlete foot spray so that I can put it on my clubs, so that I can figure out where I'm hitting the ball on the on the face of my golf clubs. I was like, I know, I'm going to be smart. I'm going to start really dialing things in a little bit more driver and all that sort of stuff. So I ordered some instant cool athlete's foot stuff. It's clear. It's not
you want to know the stupidest thing?
So
Dan?
I wasted £6 on that. Brilliant.
Do you want to know something that I probably did? I did the exact same thing probably about a year ago, and ordered clear athlete foot spray.
Yeah.
It was like, why didn't fucking tell me that it's clear on the fucking bottle? Like,
I don't even think they make the powder stuff anymore. I'm pretty convinced it's all clear.
I'm pretty sure because I have some now that you can, but obviously I mainly like do my stuff in a TrackMan, so it doesn't really matter. So obviously I can put it on the side anyway. So yeah.
Well, send me a picture of what it looks like so I can get the same thing, because I was fuming.
I was like, I don't know whether I think it's in my car. So whoever, probably people who go in my car just think I constantly have athlete's foot.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever had athlete's foot.
I haven't, no, but I was frustrated when I got it, and I was like, oh, great. Just completely. Hey, my shoes smell nice though, so that's all good.
That's good. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Nice. But I'm
Basically.
glad. But Laura's like, "What the fuck are you doing? Why you keep spraying that on your clubs?"
Yeah.
Like, why is it clear?
It's literally just foot deodorant. It's not even anything.
Yeah.
Like when I put it in athlete's foot stuff, I was like, this is the only thing that came up. So I was like,
oh really? Okay. Yeah. Nobody gets athlete's foot in Dubai.
No.
Have to have like moist conditions or whatever. No.
That's
fine.
Annoying. And you try and better yourself. You try and do the right thing. Waste of time.
Nah. Awful, mate. Basically, you should have just buckled in and bought some German curry ketchup and been all good with everything. So
spread that.
I got some kudos on that, mate. Like some people were like, "Yeah, that tastes great." So
some people are weird.
That's exactly what they're doing, and so that's exactly, mate. And I'm also on the old what did I watch? I watched that TV show where everything's just made in the same factory anyway. So I'm testing it out. So I've got some Vive, which apparently made pretty much the exact same thing as like Fanta. Yeah, tastes the same. I'm gonna be honest. I don't really know the difference. I'm sure the ingredients are exactly the same and like 1 gram like different somewhere. But yeah. For all because me and Dan are self-confessed slightly branded snobs, all right? And there's certain things I'm just like, nah, I'd rather wear that, or like I'd rather want that. As you can see, I'm not really painting that, because considering my t-shirt is a Louis Theroux t-shirt. Anybody can see that on YouTube. They can an old Louis.
Yeah, mate, that's all right. Yes,
that's pretty cool, right?
Yeah,
exactly. People are like, yeah. And I'm such a weirdo, aren't I? Like my Boston hat. But yeah, I'm on my Boston. My what is it? Celtics. That's the one. It's mainly because it's a really comfy hat.
Yeah,
I've seen the Celtics play once.
Now. I've started wearing hats more now just because they are comfortable. Like, not because I'm like around the house and stuff like that. I just think they're quite nice.
Cool. Well, I usually do it, Dan, because I'm sure you have the same problem, because I've just washed my hair. So I normally,
of course,
yeah. So I've just washed my hair, so it sets, because it normally goes a bit crazy. And if you notice, if I'm ever wearing a hat whilst I work out or with my clients, because I've not done anything with my hair in the morning, and I just put a hat. or it's getting slightly too long, which it is getting a bit long right now. So yeah, isn't that fantastic, mate?
I have that problem, mate. To be fair. So yeah.
But anyway, yeah, boring everybody with our mundane chat. That's why you're here. That's why you're hearing it. A bit too serious on the old training front last week, wasn't it? So
it was a bit,
what's happening. But yeah, we're going to still talk about that because the results from my benchmark week. So basically, you can listen to this show. Gets more views than my YouTube channel anyway, so you might as well get there. But you can also watch me talk about it in a little bit more depth, maybe, or whatever. Don't know. In terms of the whole, I wrote an email about it, about actually doing something for a month or whatever, and I did my results for, because I'm so inspiring. Dan has decided to take up triathlons as well, so that's what's going to happen.
No,
I feel like
not going to
it's definitely like a classic, I don't know, beginning, I don't know, of a midlife crisis kind of thing, isn't it? Like golf, triathlons, bikes, running, that kind of, yeah. Don't you think
so, mate? I do think so, yeah. Unfortunately for you,
thinking about changing my car, that kind of thing. Yeah.
Not great,
No.
Tom. But hey, we're here for you, mate. We're here for you. Do you know what I mean? We'll look after you. I'm sure that's okay. Don't worry, mate. All will be okay. All will be okay. You know, you're going through your midlife crisis. It's fine.
Age of 32. Wonderful. As well. All wonderful. But yeah, we'll talk about that a little bit. We've also got to talk about something I actually got hit by on Instagram, and Dan enlightened me what it was to be told anymore. I didn't really think anything of it because of James Smith's personality. I think I followed, unfollowed. I'm one of those like little bots on James Smith because he annoys me every now and again. And I'm like, oh, enough of you. And then I'll be like, oh, somebody will be talking about, oh, did you see this? I'm like, no, for fuck's sake, I've got to go do that again. I'm sorry, I'm not his target audience. So, but in his target audience, so I should know that people will what he's talking about, because people will talk about, in my target audience will talk about what he's talking about. So I'm like, it's like this weird double-edged sword kind of shit. So, apart from, I guess our training philosophy is probably similar, to be fair, but less technical, I guess. I don't know.
I don't think they're that similar, mate, to be honest.
No. I heard on the James Smith Academy, there's a whole module on biceps. So it's the same on the PTC.
Pretty similar, mate.
Exactly the same. Like on the course I wrote, like definitely a whole module on biceps.
Must be it then.
Everybody's there. No joke. I'm sure it's fantastic. We'll talk about John Doe. Eddie something. Eddie Abu. Did you know who that was before? You're a bodybuilder, man.
Yeah, he was popular about, when I was first getting into, maybe 6-7 years ago, he was popular because he used to give out really shite meal plans. And when I say really shite, I mean like really shite. To the point where like people were obviously being, I say getting ill from it, but like, had issues and all that sort of stuff. Like just the standard chicken, rice, green veg, that's it kind of thing. Juiced up the eyeballs, one of these guys, just that kind of guy, basically. Juiced up the eyeballs.
Yeah, he's a nurse, so he must know what he's talking about.
Psychiatric nurse, so maybe not so much about the physical stuff. And it was just one of those things where he's just come back around again. He just started talking about like zero carb stuff. And he's like, you can't eat any carbs, and it's, fat loss is all to do with hormones. It's nothing to do with, quality, nothing to do with calories. Quality food you eat is important, and just comes around again, doesn't it? It just comes around again of like, oh, we're seeing all these diseases increase, and like, oh, it's all because everyone's eating too much sugar and all these energy drinks are killing people. And we're just like, no, really not. Like, it's the fact that no one's actually doing any exercise or eating any vegetables ever.
Probably if we look at the actual activity numbers, like I'm lucky enough to, like, one of my good friends, Nathan, and he's got the research, and he was like, well, guess what this is, Tom? I was like, there's only 30% basically of the population in the UK get their recommended government exercise per week. And that's not a lot. Like the government exercise is not a lot. That's the thing. Like, and that's insane. That's why all these fucking incidents are probably not because you're like having a fucking Yorkie every now and again. Right?
Literally. Isn't it? That is it though. That is literally it. It's just painful to see. It's just painful to see that that's the not advice being given out, but just like that he's just popular again. Like, yeah, it's just frustrating. But it is what it is. There's nothing you can do about it. Like, he's
Well,
coming
let's
around,
let's
and it's all
let's
over Instagram, TikTok. It's on the explore pages. Everyone's seeing it. He's gaining loads more followers off the back of it, as well, which is what happens with these things. Unfortunately, when people talk shit all the time, other people like to hear people talking shit, which is strange.
Yeah, so I guess we'll talk about this first as well, and we'll flip the show slightly. So hang around if you want to learn about my results, probably, or just turn off after about half hour. That'll probably be all right. That's absolutely fine. Just a pre-warning, in case or unless you really want to know how I improved over a month, or how fucking slow I was at the start. Probably that'd be
really slow, I reckon.
But yeah. We can kind of talk about this from like certainly I'd say you more than me in terms of what we posted online, but that's I think it's more for the case of not because of strong opinions, but because you spent more time online than I have.
Yeah.
In terms of calling shit out, but not as much as like calling stuff out, but poking the bear on certain like subjects and topics you find funny or disagree with and stuff like that, and why we should. Essentially, if you've got that bit of kind of personality trait, because we both have, right? We'll both say something looks stupid. Most of our messages to each other will be like, this is dumb, or like, this looks stupid, like, what the fuck? And then, but probably both mine and Dan's audience should be like, as if we're having a conversation with me and you, right? In theory, we should publicly. That's what this show is, essentially. Like, we have a conversation that we essentially just put out to the public because we're allowed to share those fucking thoughts. And some people enjoy that crap. Some people won't, and they'll switch off. That's absolutely fine. But they're not our audience, right? So, and why that could be fucking beneficial for coaching and what you should be doing Instagram wise or social media wise, and yeah, what it can do to gain traction. Because Eddie's gained traction and he'll gain clients because of this. So being called out.
And do you know what? It's one of those where I can't remember where I read it now, but some psychological stuff. It could have been to do copyright. I can't remember what it was exactly, but people align with you based on more align with you quicker and more strongly on things that you hate than things that you like. So we're more likely to bind with someone or to have a feeling of connection with them if we have a common hatred for something and a common love for something. And I think a really common
enemies, probably like
common enemies.
People.
Yeah. I think a really good way of looking at this is like all the protests you see, right? With like the Just Stop Oil kind of stuff, right? As an example, those guys come together and they're kind of like really tight knit because they all have a common enemy, right? And our common enemy is that they're fucking annoying people. And do you know what I mean? Everyone like has a common enemy with them. So you either kind of feel strongly one way or the other about it, right? It's the same with this type of stuff. So like, obviously Eddie Abu's talking about all this crap, right? And we think it's really shit because we're smart and we're right. But Eddie Abu's also doubled his following from the last time I looked because James have called him out, right? And what you find is that when someone like that calls someone out, so James has called out Eddie Abu, and Eddie Abu's taking a stance of going, "You're fucking wrong. You're an idiot. You're a knob. Like you're being brainwashed." Well, everyone that believes that's going to follow Eddie Abu now. Everyone, and he's all over the place, everywhere, because there are other people that think that. So it just aligns people with you more strongly. And there's a really there's another copywriter, again, an email copywriter, who he did this on his email list. He had a really controversial way of doing things. I won't go into it, bore people to death, but he had a really controversial stance. And he basically wrote a magazine about a month later explaining why this is so important and why it's really important to get your list aligned with you. And he basically got attacked like verbally online by people. And what it does is it gets your audience to almost defend you in a way because they believe the same thing. And because they've defended you, they are just instantly like, they respect you more. They're more aligned with you. Like you create that sense of camaraderie with people. Yeah. And in the online fitness world, there's not enough coaches standing up for stuff that they believe in. And they're all like happy to point out things that are wrong, all this sort of stuff, but they don't really go quite aggressively on it. Like we've talked about Joel Seaman before, right? We just think he's a fucking idiot. But then you look at the comments on his videos, the people are there going like, oh my God, like you're a king, you know exactly what you're talking about. Like you will find people. And like I said, when you're attacked, that's when your true fans come to your rescue a little bit in that sense. And whenever we talk to coaches about like putting more personality out there, they just think we mean like, oh, have a laugh, be funny. It's like, no, like, what do you stand for? Like I'd like to think that anyone listening to this podcast would know roughly, we haven't explicitly said it, but I reckon they'd be able to know our political views, our religious views, like the way we view the world, our thoughts on some topics that maybe we haven't even touched on.
Massive racists. We're massive racists.
Yeah,
they'd
probably be able to guess our view on it with some degree of certainty. You know what I mean? Like with certain things, right? And it's that whole concept of like you attract your tribe based on sometimes what you stand against as much as what you stand for. And not enough coaches use that to their advantage, number one. And too many coaches are scared to put their opinion out there because they're scared of being called out and all this sort of stuff. But as Eddie Abu's just proven, actually sometimes being called out is a great thing. It gets your audience riled up, and it gets your people there more likely to defend you and go, actually, no, I know what I'm doing. This is the right thing to be doing. So I don't think there's too many negatives that come from it, to be honest. And I think that too many coaches are scared like of that. And I have to have this conversation regularly with coaches. I sit there on a call with them. I'm like, okay, we're here because I've done this. Me and Mike have done this. And you're afraid of doing it. Why? Like, we're literally sat on this call. You're paying me money because I've done it. That's proof enough that it works, right? What do you think about me? Oh, I think you know your stuff. Or, well, I think those guys are idiots, right? We do the same thing for you, right? It's the whole concept, and that's where a lot of coaches fall down, and they get kind of not stressed about it, but they worry far too much about something that doesn't need as much stress and concern as they think it does.
But I guess it's human nature to care what other people think as well, right? And it's doing it again. It's another thing. It's like doing it enough to kind of be able to be thicker skinned and be like, all right, it doesn't fucking matter. I'm never going to meet these people. It's literally words. Yeah, obviously psychology can kind of fucking be like, meh, whatever. And both of me and you have been attacked for shit online and had nasty comments on our videos. That's fucking fine. I can give a shit. I'm just like, but then to also that thing, we've got enough people who align with us who have jumped in and backed us up on certain things, I'm sure, in our comments as well, which is exactly happened with our tiny fucking following. But it's mainly because we probably know what we align with and what we kind of want to stand for, blah, 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 all this kind of shit. So my stuff has always be bashing bodybuilding. I'm just like, I always do that. It's absolutely fine. I have no problem with that. I'll just be like, that's fine. You can, I'll just run off. You will never be able to catch me. So absolutely fine. I'll put something on the floor and be like, you won't be able to bend over to get it. So it's absolutely cool. But yeah, I do feel like people need to just stand up for what they actually want in their kind of community as well, right? Because if you don't align with something, then fucking tell people. That's absolutely fine. Like, I'm sure
it's that's literally all it is. It's just explaining to people like what you believe in. And that's the thing is, there's too much nice content on Instagram. No one likes nice content. No one watches nice content. No one flicks past it. It's the stuff that causes controversy, causes discussion, causes arguments that people want to see. From and we can like it or not, but that's the way the world is, isn't it? And you've seen it across time. It's not like it's just in this social media age. It's across all times. You only have to look back at 15 years at all the magazines. It was always the celeb scandals people want to read about. Stuff people want to focus
on. You look in sport right now, and I've been a person who's complained about it right now. I disagree that the Premier League football, in terms of they're all playing each other in friendlies now, and like away in America and stuff. Why the fuck are Arsenal and Manchester United playing a pre-season friendly against each other? When I grew up, they were fucking throwing pizza at each other, and like Patrick Vieira was kicking like Roy Keane, and I'm like, they would not be anything. I loved that. That was cool. Like, I don't want to see them like high-fiving each other on the back end of a fucking match that was not worth anything. No, I want them to kill each other. Like, it's apparently the England team all get along now. But like, I was listening to, obviously, the Rio Ferdinand was on the Peter Grant podcast for the last 2 episodes, and he was like, we hated each other. Like, we didn't want to I didn't want to speak to Frank Lampard in the fucking England dressing room because it's Chelsea. I fucking want them to lose. Like, that's what I love. I want that to happen. Like, that's cool. That's what I want to happen in your fitness fucking world. Like, align with like your little group, your little pack, which is absolutely fine. Obviously, don't be outwardly fucking mean, have a go at people's like science and
Yeah, you're
like
having to go at the
philosophies and
principles. You're
stuff
not having to
like
go at the
that.
person individually.
You're
Like
not being
that's where it
like
goes too far.
you're a fat cunt. Like, don't say that. You're never having to go at the human. Like they're probably perfectly lovely. That's absolutely fine. You just go, actually, your idea is I disagree. And this is why.
Yeah.
And just be funny about it, be whatever, be controversial about it. That's absolutely fine. I disagree with bodybuilding because I think it's a pile of shit and people don't move like that. And they won't be able to run around with their kids if they want to play a knockout little, I don't know, five-a-side. If Dan was a legitimately good bodybuilder, he wouldn't be able to play golf. He's good at golf. He wasn't a great bodybuilder.
Did you say that, Tom?
Yeah.
Wow, that's what he said. Do you know what he just said?
Well, in the adverse effect, Mike has a lot more muscle mass than you. Not a great golfer. It's absolutely fine. Yeah.
There you go. You heard it here first, guys.
We'll get better, I'm sure. But yeah, naturally, probably not a fantastic golfer. Not because he's got too much muscle mass, because the way he trained. You can be a golfer and have muscle mass. You can be mobile and have muscle mass. It's probably because he didn't train not correctly. He trained correctly for his sport. Just his sport is a ball of shit. So people like switching off. Fuck you, Tom. That's absolutely fine. That's right. People don't come to me for aesthetics, but I should probably release some photos of people who have got good aesthetics results from not worrying about it whatsoever. So yeah, it's interesting that happens. Interesting that happens, isn't it? But yeah, is it aligning with your audience? It's just aligning with your thoughts, right? That's what we want.
It's your thoughts and feelings and morals. Like again, it's not about aligning with an audience. It's about letting your audience align with you. They have to get to know you as a human. You as the individual, what you stand for, and putting out your thoughts and feelings about the world is important. It's just no getting around it. You just can't. I just don't think you can't get around it.
Just do it in fucking fitness and shit. Like, stay away from probably the taboos if you don't want to get caught.
Yeah, look, I always say,
don't go religion, don't go race,
don't go politics. Yeah,
don't go money, don't go politics. Like, stay away from that bullshit. Like, that's fine. Unless you have some sort of liable case against you at some point, that'd be fantastic. Yeah, like we
talk about principles, we're talking about theories, we're talking about all this sort of stuff. It's like. It's those things, and the common kickback I get from people is, "Oh, what do you mean? I don't really care enough about other stuff." And I'm like, "Well, you need to get out more then. Like, you need to pay more attention to the news and pay more attention to what other people are talking about and saying. Like, because if you're just focused on other shit that you can't talk about and give opinions on, like, well, what are you doing with your day? Like, go out and socialize, speak to human beings. You'll realize there's shit out there that people are arguing about and they are worried about.
Yeah,
That's the other thing I didn't get with it. It's just like, come on, there's lots of stuff going on in the world. Fucking stick your nose out the door.
Yeah, screams they haven't been in a social setting. Like, if you've ever worked in a place that has more than 10 employees, chances are those 10 people have differing views, and you'll be able to talk about differing views. It's just whether you recoil and just like just disagree. It's fine, and just run away, or just like no, have a little argument. That's fine, absolutely fine. Some people that couldn't take arguments. Which is great. I remember posting about fucking clean eating Alice, and that went off. And I was just like, she couldn't take an argument. Yeah. That was fun.
I remember that.
Yeah. I've likened her view on weighing scales to a farmer, and not, or like, what was it? I portrayed it as a farmer, not wanting to go to get to his farm via a map. Yeah, she took it very personally. Very odd. As someone who.
That. Exactly.
I think I had a go at, like, I was just like, I'd rather, basically my view of my audience was like, I'd rather have the data. I'd rather weigh somebody pretty much every day to have that habit. And if they want to lose weight, if you're not losing that much weight, it's fine. Like, we don't have to weigh the scale, but that's going to be part of our data collection. That's absolutely fine. And then it was only because she did a post the day before, and she knew me personally because I'd lectured to her a few times. And apparently there was an attack on her.
She took it very personally, didn't she?
She took it very personally. Yeah, she reported me to my managing director about a fucking social media post. And I was like, guess what? I left it up. Absolutely fine. So, I frequently get in trouble sometimes, so it's fine. So yeah, that's the whole school thing, isn't it? Like, you should sometimes keep your mouth shut. Not very fun though, is it? Not very fun.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't like doing that.
I don't
Though.
like
That's
doing
the
that. I'm gonna
only
say
problem.
voice your opinion. Fuck it. Like you've only got one life. Jesus Christ. If everybody agreed, that's literally what I say to a lot of people who they disagree with somebody
Yeah.
else's view. And I'm like, if everybody agreed, it'd be a fucking boring world. If everybody looked the same, if everybody dressed the same,
Yeah.
fuck me. It'll be so dull. It's like, oh no, they're weird. Cool. Absolutely fine. They're allowed to be weird. Emos are allowed to be weird. Goths are allowed to be weird. Yeah, cool. They're weird to you, but doesn't mean they're not allowed to be odd. Like in their culture, you're it's like fucking go crazy, Dan. Anyway, what's going to be your next controversial post?
I don't know, mate. I'm sure there'll be something. I mean, we've got a YouTube video going out tonight about fucking people who lie about how much money they earn. So there you go.
I saw.
No,
am I allowed to guess? I'm going to go for 50K. Is that right?
Yeah. Yeah, you can make it up, mate. You can say whatever you want to say. That's the bottom line. It was there's just this one mentor who just literally like we noticed, or Mike's noticed more importantly. It's like every time he speaks, there's like a different amount that he earns now. And it's like, but like in the space of a week, like not even like, and like the numbers are ridiculous. Like they're going up massive, crazy amounts. And he just claims like, oh, when I had a fitness thing, I was earning this much money. And Mike's like, well, no, like we know you weren't for a fact because you could just have to do basic numbers of posts you made on Facebook, that number of clients you had, and the math doesn't add up. So it's like you're lying about something. And it's just this whole thing about people just lie about how much they earn to make it look as if they're better than other people. Do you know what I mean? It's just like, oh, fucking get a life. Like, so yeah, I think it's just that basically.
Well, that is rich coming from you, putting your scores of golf up, mate. I know you just enter those grints in. Not even there. He doesn't even live in Dubai. Like, it's just stealing somebody else's pictures. That's what happens.
Yeah, can you imagine? just to look good. Just to look good in front of other people. Fucking hell.
That's it. Yeah, very strange. All right. Yeah, you have to tell me. I think I know which mentor it is, but we'll do it off air, shall we? Because there'll be people who listen who might have that mentor. Fine.
Always the same. It's always the same.
Yeah. It's probably the same. Yeah, because somebody told me another story about a mentor. I'll tell you off air. It's fine. About sword. I've got a sword, but not from this mentor. Sword, yeah.
I do like a sword, to be fair.
Probably somebody who got it from that, so it'll be fun. All right, we'll talk about
Tom.
Yeah, probably. Benchmark week. So obviously, I align with testing. Shock, and I believe people should be testing fairly frequently. And a lot of people, I will be having a go at in some videos over the next few weeks about people who say they're going to do something but never fucking do it. And you know who you people are. Like, I'm going to do a 5K. I'm going to do a 10K. I'm going to do a 5K. Fucking do one then. No one cares. No one cares. Like, don't just waste your time and be like, oh, I'll do it like when I'm really good. I'm going to be really good. I'm only going to play golf once I can play scratch. Like, so I've got to go in the simulator forever before I can go on a course. Just do it. No one, like, it's cool. It's all part of the journey to suck. You learn the most by failing. So yeah, that's why I'm doing all my stuff. That's why I did a benchmark test 4 or 5 weeks into my training, just to see where I'm fucking at and see whether I improved over a month. And that's what I talk about testing wise. So all of my clients, unfortunately, within the first 3 months, and some are going to get a fucking shock because they've been with me for 3 months and they're getting a week full of testing, which they won't have done before because they come from, I mentioned it last week, some have come from the bodybuilding world. And I'm like, guess what? You got to fucking go balls to walls for a week. Like, you haven't done that for a very long time. So it should be funny. I'm expecting a lot of resistance. So it should be fun. Yeah, so my benchmarking week, essentially my combine stuff, all right, was, so Dan, what do you think I did? Because you won't have watched my YouTube. For my run, obviously swim, bike, run, fairly simple. Don't care about my lifting. I've only actually got like 1 lifting session in for the last like 3 weeks. But I've done all of my cardio sessions, which is because I'm a cool kid, and also because I got to play golf a couple of times, so that binned off my weight training. I was just like, fuck that. That's right. I'll do a couple of pull-ups. Done. That's all good. That'll help my swimming. So, what do you reckon? You're a knowledgeable man. In terms of, obviously the end goal next year is like half Ironmans and stuff like that, but obviously I'm taking it reasonably seriously. I will be going and doing like park runs and stuff like that. Weirdo, loser. But in terms of distance. So the half Ironman will have a half marathon, so 21K run. We'll have essentially a 2K swim, and then it will be a 90K bike. So obviously I haven't done those this week. I think that would be smart. Obviously. I think after 1 month, Dan, I decided to do, I think I'd possibly die. And I should probably, I didn't, I'll talk about it. I'll talk about it as I go through, because I have coaching decisions I should have made, and I learned from it, and I have to replicate it somehow. But yeah, what do you reckon I did? Run. What was my run test? You should probably know, because it's all I've been fucking doing for the last month, really, and you know that. In terms of running.
Yeah, I mean, I'd probably say a 5K, but I mean,
correct. I just did a fucking 5K because it was so boring and standard, and just like I've not gone running. That's the most 5Ks I've run in a month. Okay, full stop. That's the most 5Ks I've run in my life ever, ever. Okay, so I did a month worth of probably about 8 5Ks, right? So 8 running sessions in that 1 month, right? And yeah, that's absolutely. I actually started to enjoy it, so it's absolutely fine. But obviously, if anybody knows running vaguely, that was just kind of to cut my teeth, start getting to rhythm. I won't be running at that pace very often, like a full 5K pace. So, for example, on Sunday, I had to go and run slowly. So I was doing zone 2, zone 3 work, and that's it. I was running at a slow pace, like a full minute and a half, like per kilometer slower than I ran my 5K. So I did that. So the improvement so bearing in mind, if you just did 5Ks, you probably, or 2 a week, like I've just done, you probably won't improve this much. This is my caveat. I still did my weight training. I still did 1 to 2 swims a week, and I still did one bike session a week. So my CV base was getting bigger from all encompassing, not just doing my 2 runs. Okay, just putting that there before people going, fuck, all right, I'm going to improve my 5K by this much in 4 weeks. No, you at least to do 4 to 5 like CV sessions per week, right? So I was just doing 5Ks. My first actual 5K. So I'm going to count my first one as the ones I had my new shoes on. And I probably took slightly more seriously because actually my first one was sucked ass, and I was wearing like shoes that are about like 4 or 5 years old that aren't running shoes. Okay, so the first one I count as a time was about, I think it was 24 minutes and like 40 something seconds, maybe something like that. So, which personally is slow, I think. But obviously a kind of 25-minute like 5K is pretty much, you should be, I think everybody in fitness, or to an extent, if you're vaguely athletic or sporty, should be probably able to run a 25-minute 5K. Cool. And then, so I did my testing. So last week I ran.
I'm not going to try that. You're like, anyone vaguely interested in fitness should be able to do that.
Like, so last week I did a 22:49. So same route, same thing, whatever. Cool. So essentially 2 minutes off. And obviously I wasn't gunning it on the first one. I wasn't going to be like, yeah, smashing it, but I was fucked. Don't get me wrong, after doing that first one. But over that 1 month, I lost 2 minutes. I guarantee I won't be losing 2 minutes a month, because that doesn't happen. And obviously, I'm going to be learning to run like slower. But there's a certain time I want to be able to run for whatever. So I want to get down to sub 20 5Ks before I kind of move on. And then I know I can run fast, and then I'll run for long. Okay, that's my plan. So yeah, cool. And also, I'm fucking heavy. I haven't lost any weight. I'm definitely slimmer, and I'm definitely like better in terms of like physical fitness and stuff, but I've lost barely a kilo, like a kilo, maybe kilo and a half, all this shit. Mainly because I've got a lot more fuel fucking going in. Yeah, correct. Because I'm like, and I'm such a sweet tooth person at the end of the day. I'm just like, give me this fucking ice cream. Like, where is it? Like, just hunting it out. So yeah, so I've got to kind of I know I need to lose a little bit of weight, because I'm probably hovering like 89 kilos. And yeah, that's a bit too much, considering one of my running buddies is like 70 kilos. And I'm like, all right, well, next time we run, I'm going to give you a 20 kilo fucking like weight on you and see if you can run as quick. Like, let's go. Yeah, don't think you'll be able to do it. So it's fine. So yeah, 2 minutes, 1 month, pretty cool, right? So imagine you could do that. And then what do you think my swim was, Dan?
Was it 2K swim?
So
for the event, right?
for the event is like it's a 1.9, I think 1.9 to 2K. Yeah.
I say probably again like similar to a quarter of that, probably.
Yeah, pretty much. That was
10 lap. What's that? 10 lengths, 50-meter pool, 10 lengths.
So yeah, that was what I was going for. I was going to go for 10 minutes. That was what I had in my head. I was going to just change it slightly because I wanted the variable, because I was just like, for my mind, I was like, if I put 10 minutes on the clock and just swam, I'd be like, all right, let's just go and see how far. So I had the distance as the result, but I ended up having to switch it because the Lido I was using was annoying. So it's 61 meters long. Why? Why is it 61 meters long? Why didn't they just make it 60? It's super annoying. And then the annoyance of, I wish the Whoop had a fucking watch on it. Like, why does it not have a fucking little Casio on it? Like, I've got a Casio here, right? Why not just
stick it? Because I've literally did tiny digital
like
display.
That. The little digital display. It's all it needs. It doesn't look any more bulky. I might just strap it over the top, to be honest. Like, it's so annoying that I don't have a watch on it. You'll see my Whoop review on my YouTube in the next couple of weeks. Yeah, so I did a 10 lengths, so that was 610 meters. Call it 600 meters. So it was meant to be 500 meters. I was going to do 10 length, 10 minutes, and I was like, I can't do that. I can't bother to look at my watch or whatever, or make my Whoop buzz after 10 minutes. And I was just like, you know what? I'm just going to do 10 lengths. That's fine. So 600. Obviously, people have no idea about swimming, so they won't be like, oh, that's cool, you swam. So I did like 11 minutes for the swim. So extrapolate that out, probably 3.2. I'm hopefully going to be doing that in about 33 minutes, I reckon, my swim. But my swimming is quite strong, so I'm already ahead of average. You won't be
practicing that much, will you? Because you're already a decent swimmer.
I'm already an okay swimmer. My main thing is my heart rate on my swim and being able to breathe for that long, right? So that's literally it. So my heart rate was...
Make sure you breathe, mate. That's the vital part of swimming.
Correct.
Breathing.
That is the big one.
You drown
the one thing I'm more scared about these triathlons, so the last 2 weeks, there was like the World Series event in Sunderland. Fuck you doing it there. And they... 56 of the competitors all complained of excessive diarrhea, getting sick straight after the event because of the it was too unclean, the water that they swam in around Sunderland. No, I could have told you that. It's fucking disgusting.
Yeah, I was about to say,
and then there was another event like the other week in like a lake swim. They had to cancel the swim and did a 2K run at the start because again it was unclean. So I'm a little bit skeptical that I really want to do it. I might be doing an Ironman in like Mallorca instead, so I might go do that. We'll do it on location instead of like in a pond, probably somewhere in England. So yeah, pretty gross, but yeah. So the idea, I want my swim to be around like between 30 and 35 minutes. So I'm all right with that. It's just the breathing patterns and my heart rate staying between 130 and 150 the whole time. That is what I'd be looking at. And then the cycle, 30K bike. I do it on a watt bike, but basically, what test do you think I did, Dan? You probably saw my fucking post on Friday, or
I didn't know, but I'd probably say 10K, like just as a random guess. Less than that.
No, I didn't do a distance. I did an FTP test. So I just did 20 minutes, a 20-minute FTP.
20 minutes, how far you can go?
Well, essentially, average wattage, how far you can go. So I was a little bit disappointed.
Your goal then to try and maintain your average wattage at a high level?
Essentially, it's like to maintain somewhere around that FTP for a long amount of time, right? So, and that like looks into, because obviously the average watch relates to like average speed, and then you know what you're doing through there. So that would be the idea. So yeah, the FTP was annoying, to be fair. It was actually down from where I was about 2-3 years ago, but I was doing a lot more like, I don't know, biking and stuff. So I'm not too fussed about that. So that was settled at 275, but I was fucked. Basically, I did the swim test the day before, and then I obviously did my FTP test off a bad recovery according to my Whoop. And yeah, I had to back off like for two minutes during that 20 minutes. So that's why it went down slightly. So that would be, yeah. It was mainly because my conditioning is not as good enough. Simple. I wasn't able to recover quick enough, like CV wise, from those bouts of like intense exercise. Yeah. Now it'll get better. That's absolutely fine. I'll try and replicate it again, but obviously the swim is like lower impact. So I should recover better from the swim. You know, swimmers like do like 3 or 4 like races per like like gala, don't they, on the same day? So can't be that hard. No.
Can't be that hard, mate. No,
Yeah.
they're not fine injured athletes or anything. They can't be that
Can't be
hard.
that hard. Can't be that hard. They're like back in the pool like 20 minutes later, winning like world championships and stuff. So can't be that hard. Fucking hell. So yeah, it's interesting to just to see like, so those testing protocols, basically I wanted like a quarter to a third of what I'll be doing like total distance. And then the FTP is just a way to standardize zones and the training for the next fucking year, essentially. And that'll be a retest. My retest will probably be, I'm going to pick 2 of them every other month or every month, I think, and then rotate and go around. So I'm not always getting bored. So I'll leave one out each month when I need to change it. My most improved, basically, because I'll be like looking at which one is my weakness and then being like, all right, I need to really knuckle down on that. Cool. That'll be my priority for this month. And then the other 2 will be spinning the plates and then going through there. So I'd suggest, if that's something that people are doing, I suggest they would, in bodybuilding, in whatever their training would be, I tend to go between speed, power, and strength with my clients. And those are the things that we rotate over the combine. I decide which one's shit and which one's good. And then we spin the plate on the other ones. We say like, and really kind of limited kind of layman's terms on like a needs analysis. We go, right, that sucked. Your jump didn't go up as much as I wanted it to. That actually went down because you're shit. All right, we need to focus on more strength-based stuff instead of like where volume is going. And if we're leading up to competition, we might do something else as well. Okay. So I suggest if somebody wants to learn about that, they come to one of my seminars that I'll be doing in the future. But yeah, they probably look at doing that during their training. It's probably not done all the time, I'd say, by online coaches. It's very much like, I reckon, like phasing, stuff like that.
Yeah, they don't really think about testing too much from that point of view. They don't do it and like don't inform that practice, and they don't I suppose the worst thing is they then worry about why their clients then maybe drop off. Like, well, they've got nothing to aim for. They've got no guidance like in terms of like where they're trying to get to, what numbers they're trying to hit. Even if it could be as simple as just saying like, right, we're going to test your bench press, and in 12 weeks we'll do a specialization program and see your bench get to this level. Just something to work towards, something to think about getting towards. It's like as with golf, you think about trying to work towards something, a number, a strategy, whatever it is.
So I think some people like maybe look at my stuff, oh shit, you're doing like 12, 13 tests. I don't do that all the time. Like it would just be like a one day. I just want to make it an event. That's the thing. Like I want to make like it's their week. That's their thing. They get like excited for it and they get anxiety because they fucking care about it. That's the thing. But I don't want the people, or I do want the people to come to me because they're like, that they'll push it into the future and say they'll do something, but they never fucking do. And I'm just like, all right, well, just do it. It's absolutely fine. Just go and do it. Those are the kind of people that, you should be trying to attract and be like, let's put it in the diary. Let's somehow do it. Let's do it together. That's fine. So I'm doing these triathlons because I'm going to do it with 2 of my clients. I was like, fuck it. I need something to train for. They want to do it. Let's go. So yeah, I think just testing in general, you can have a bad day, 100%. Like that's absolutely fine. But you should, I think too, especially when some people have come to me, they've been like, are we not like really specifically tracking week on week exactly what weights we're doing? I'm like, no. As long as you train to the best of your ability each week, absolutely fine. Like, I don't care about like probably 40 to 50% of like the weights that you're lifting on those exercises. I just want you to do them with a decent intensity. And then we're going to build towards your testing protocol like in about 8 weeks' time. That's what we're going to do. And if you've done it and if you haven't lifted the right loads or like the loads that you know you can do, then your test will suck. That's not my fault. Like, I just want you to do it. We're still tracking your weight, but it's fine. They're not particularly going, we did 7 for 135 this week. And then it'll be like, we've done 8 for 134. It's like, amazing. What does that translate to in like a combine week? What does that translate to in like, all right, if we got an AMRAP week that we're going to like smash all of your exercises and decide what those benchmarks are? That's what I want people to start. And especially from, you said, a community kind of event kind of point of view, it enables people to get excited and like they're sticking around for that week or stuff like that. So especially because you're relaunching Blitz, right? You've got 12 weeks to fucking get in shape. It's exactly the same thing. Exactly the same thing. It's just for the people who can't be asked to do a fucking photo shoot. It's too hard.
Yeah, don't blame them. Yeah, like, that's the thing. Is like you turned up to like a combine, right? All there combined, quite literally, together, and you've all got a common goal. You all know you've been working on these things. You don't want to turn up and be shit.
No,
you just don't. Like, it's in the back of your head the whole time. Like he just goes, people are just keen to just impress a little bit, or not even that, just do the best that they could do. If you go to a combine thing and you come dead last, but you PB'd, great. It's like me, if I was in a golf tournament and I hit my best ever round, even if I lost the tournament, I wouldn't care. I've done my best ever round. Like, what more do you want? It's the same thing with this. It's like having that thing to work towards all the time, and not enough people do it. I think it's different now for us when we work with more coaches now trying to build the business, because there is an element of that anyway built in. But I think with a lot of people trying to lose weight, there's not as much of that. It's like, oh, I've lost 10 kilos, great, and I feel good. Okay, cool. Well, there's always loads more you can do with performance and athleticism and being more athletic and all that sort of stuff. So I think coaches need to think about adopting that as much as possible, for sure. Like, not enough of them do it. But that's also because a lot of them just focus literally on bodybuilding, like, oh, fat loss and bodybuilding. And that's where if you focused on more performance side of stuff, well, fuck me, you should be nailing this.
What's the thing? Like, it's just, even if you obviously your end goal, most of the coaches listening here are doing transformations. Let's be frank, right? Yeah. That's the most of the time that people, I obviously get that. Most of the population wants to lose weight. That's fine. But there's no reason why you can't have like a kind of secondary or tertiary goals to work towards, in terms of, and make that an event of sorts, right? And like build it up in their calendar, and like you can still work towards that. Cool, that's absolutely fine. And my advice would just be pick, like, if you're a well-rounded coach, they're probably doing some CV or some ESD, like energy system development stuff. They're probably doing some strength endurance based stuff, and they're probably doing some, like, maybe not everybody does power-based work. That's fine. Cool. They don't have to. Maybe they're doing some strength-based work. Just pick like one from each. And if you're trying to focus on pull-ups, cool. All right, let's do AMRAP pull-ups. Strength endurance, it's fine. Or AMRAP like press-ups. Put it in. It's absolutely fine. Yeah. Do it. Dan's going to do it in October. So when I'm there. When I'm in Dubai, we're going to go out running 5Ks together. Do that. I will have to fucking probably train when I'm there. I'll do those runs anyway. Probably not with you. No.
You reckon you got to train when you're here? Come on, mate. You're on holiday.
Well, I won't actually have to, not properly train. I'll go for a run. Yeah,
I was about to say, the weather will be decent enough for you to go for a run.
Yeah, exactly. Go for it. I'll be able to run down the beach. Like, there's actually like running bits in Dubai, so that'll be fun. About one of those guys. I'm gonna put it on like a selfie stick and like run with it the whole way.
You're one of those guys then.
One of those guys. I won't be one of those guys. So I also bought some more shoes, Dan. So I'm now a runner. I have 2 pairs of running shoes. So exciting, isn't it?
You're cool, mate. You're so cool.
I bought running shoes to run slowly. Apparently there's a difference. I was like, what is my life coming to? So it's fun.
I bet people say that about us in golf, they make with golf clubs.
Yeah, it's very true. I literally wrote about that in my email coming out tomorrow, and I was just like, all the gear, kind of no idea, kind of thing. Like, what is this guy doing? Like, why is he buying this shit? And I'm like, yeah, you know what? I need to buy shit to get excited about doing it. Like, I'm gonna buy a fancy pair of goggles because I'm like, oh, I'm gonna go swimming in these. Like, yeah. Like, Dan's exactly the same. He's bought 7 putters and hasn't putted on it, but he's excited about it, isn't he? He's like, yeah, that's why he's going down like to putting practice all the time. He's got to make it interesting somehow. So
it's really not. It's really not what I'm doing. Okay.
All right. Anyway, we'll come to an end of the show. Any other business?
Not from me. No, I'm good.
Obviously, go join Blitz would be the thing, that it's mainly for coaches now.
It is mainly for coaches.
I'll do your advertising for you. Fuck me.
Well, it's not. I mean, there's nothing you can do about it just yet. Anyway, you can join the
priority list. Okay, don't bother.
List. Go to my Instagram and join it. But I'll be plugging it later on in the next few shows after this. So don't stress about it just yet. But we announced it, so yeah, it's coming. Don't worry. 12 weeks. Want to get in photo shoot shape? You want to diet? You don't have to do the photo shoot. That's optional, but most people are obviously going to do it. It's factored into the price, obviously, and that kind of thing. So definitely worth looking at. If you need 12 weeks of accountability, you want to lose some body fat, you want to take some decent photos at the end of it, and you're a coach, it'll help your marketing, it'll help your business.
Nah, don't bother.
Do a triathlon instead. That's loads more fun.
Annoyingly longer than 12 weeks training.
No, fuck that. Too much like hard work. Not for me,
Got to buy another bike, can I? Fuck me. Must be annoying.
Too
bikes on.
expensive.
I know that's where my fucking new iron money is gonna go, Dan. That's the annoying thing as well.
Oh, you get more fun out of your irons, mate.
Oh, and yeah, thank you for the people who reached out about obviously I'm doing some stuff, kind of a PT Core Live full day of fucking coaching and shit. That will be released over the next couple of weeks in terms of what we're doing, and it will be in September. Okay. And it will be in London because I ain't traveling anywhere else, not in Leeds. Okay, now.
Doesn't like leaving that little
exactly.
circle of the underground, does he?
So that's fine. Yeah.
Can't get the underground. Don't want to go.
I don't get the underground. I actually got it today because it was raining. Shock. All right, guys. Thanks for listening, and we will catch you next week.
See you later.